I felt a slight breeze the day I walked out the door. The house, the relationship, the place that was once my home had become a place of pain. I knew I had to make a choice: leave there or die there. My spirit was on life support, but my responsibility for 3 lives made me take the breath that brought life to us all. And I left. If I couldn't fit it in my car, I didn't bring it. I lived with family and friends for a year, but I was getting nowhere. Unemployed, with no permanent address, and 3 children in tow, I made an even harder decision. I entered a homeless shelter. As a woman and a mother, I thought that I had failed at life. No one starts out as a child saying, "When I grow up, I want to be homeless." I certainly didn't want my family to be homeless. But I knew that God was there, guiding and protecting me. Now let me be clear. Just because God is guiding does not mean that the rough spots are easy. I had to change my way of thinking for every challenge to become a lesson. The thought, "God, what is this for?" became, "God, I know this is for something." The process was not easy. Change never is. I resisted and really wanted to feel sorry for myself for a good long time. Living in a shelter rocked my world and attached a stigma and level of embarrassment to my life that I could not have anticipated. I became the family joke, and even loved ones treated me like I was subhuman. It was humiliating, but I chose to look at it as a lesson. That's the reason that I stand where I am today. My grandmother used to say, "Difficult times come to make us strong." And I thought, I want to be strong, but there were days when God was really pushing the envelope. What I didn't know was by rebuilding my personal foundation, God was answering prayers that I hadn't even prayed yet. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." And he had and has great big plans for me. I could only trust God, and trusting in him helped me to push forward. By the time my children and I came to transitional housing in 2010, we had been displaced for over a year. As I sat in front of my case manager, she asked me what my goals were. I said, "I want to be able to buy a cell phone on my own, in my name, with my own money, and not have to pay extra in advance." It was a small dream, but for the first time ever, her questions made me examine what I wanted for myself. I realized that I was lost and needed to find some answers. So I worked toward the small goal and found that I had more inside of me. Every part-time job, financial management class, prayer, and tear led me to this day, this moment. Thank you. As my thinking became different, my goals became different. As my goals became different, my work ethic became different, and my reality became different. What I realized is that going through life's uncomfortable places is just that, uncomfortable. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we all wound up like Bill Gates or Oprah Winfrey, able to give and have more than enough to live? The truth is, that's not what I was created to do. That is not my purpose. My purpose is to give people hope, and I can do that with my degree in criminal justice. I would not be able to fulfill my purpose if not for the bricks that have built my foundation of triumph. One of those bricks is GMercy, where I have found more than a formal education. I have found support, encouragement, love, hope, and even a swift kick in the rear when I need it. When your spirit is broken, you look for hope wherever you can find it. I came here running from so many things: poverty, abuse, homelessness, but what I found was a place that has helped me to cultivate the gifts that God has given me. In my time here, one professor taught me that there are many people who are educated but have not learned anything, and that being able to repeat what you've read isn't the mark of learning. True learning and wisdom come through the application of those words to our lives. Another professor taught me that diversity of thought should be welcomed at the table, and that looking beyond the surface of a person gives insight into them and ourselves. Finally, the leaders and advisors of our criminal justice program have taught me patience with myself and taught me to love myself enough to let all the best work, thoughts, and deeds rise to the surface. Because without doing that, our true gifts are just hiding in plain sight. It has not been easy, but it has been worth it. I now have a cell phone, and I own a home. But more than anything, I have a life filled with love and hope. My fellow graduates, as you reach the end of your chapter at GMercy, please allow me to offer you some advice. First, take some time and list all the people that you love and make sure you tell them. But don't forget to make sure you are at the top of that list. Second, discernment is one of God's greatest gifts. So treasure it, practice it, and always trust it. Finally, I will end with this quote from the late South African president, political leader, and philanthropist Nelson Mandela. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. So go, be triumphant, be conquerors. Thank you to my family, President Emilio, the Board of Trustees, faculty, and staff, and congratulations to the class of 2018. Thank you.